Chapter 7 Parking, Stopping, or Standing. Not all crashes happen while a vehicle is moving. An improperly parked vehicle may also cause a crash. When you leave your vehicle, turn the motor off, set the parking brake and remove the key. Be sure to look behind you for any oncoming traffic before opening your car door. Do not park, stop, or stand a vehicle in the following situations. You should not park, stop, or allow a vehicle to stand idling. 1. On the roadside of any vehicle stopped or parked at the edge or curb of a street. 2. On a sidewalk or crosswalk. 3. Within an intersection. 4. Between a safety zone and adjacent curb or within 30 feet of a place on the curb immediately opposite the end of a safety zone. 5. Alongside or opposite of any street excavation or obstruction when stopping, standing, or parking would obstruct traffic. 6. On a bridge or other elevated structure on a highway or within a highway tunnel. 7. On any railroad track. 8. At any place where an official sign prohibits stopping. Do not park or stand a vehicle whether occupied or not. Do not park or allow a vehicle to stand idling. 1. In front of a public or private driveway. 2. Within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. 3. Within 20 feet of a crosswalk at an intersection. 4. Within 30 feet upon the approach to any flashing signal, stop sign, yield sign, or other traffic control signal located at the side of a road. 5. Within 20 feet of the driveway entrance to any fire station and on the side of a street opposite the entrance to any fire station. Within 75 feet of entrance. 6. At any place where an official sign prohibits parking or standing. Do not park a vehicle. 1. Do not park a vehicle, occupied or not, within 50 feet of the nearest rail of a railroad crossing. 2. Do not park a vehicle at any place where an official sign prohibits parking. Parking, stopping, or standing on a highway outside an urban area. Never park or leave a vehicle to stand idling on the paved part of any highway outside of a business or residential district when you can park off the road. If you cannot park off the road, 1. Leave plenty of room for others to pass. 2. Be sure your vehicle can be seen for at least 200 feet from each direction. 3. If at night, use your parking lights or leave your headlights on dim. 4. A person may stop, stand, or park a bicycle on a sidewalk if the bicycle does not impede the normal and reasonable movement of pedestrian or other traffic on the sidewalk. Disabled parking. It is a violation for a person to park, stand, or stop a vehicle in a parking space designated as disabled parking. Illegally parking in a space reserved for individuals with disabilities is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine of $500 to $750 for the first offense. This fine increases with additional offenses up to $1,250 for 5 or more offenses. Additional offenses also include community service. Texas law specifically states: 1. You may not park in a disabled parking space unless the vehicle has a disabled license plate or state-issued removable windshield identification card. 2. You may not use a disabled parking windshield identification card unless transporting the disabled person to whom it was issued. 3. You may not lend your windshield identification card to someone else. 4. You may not block an access or curb ramp. 5. You may not make, sell, possess, or display a counterfeit disabled parking windshield identification card, or alter a disabled parking windshield identification card. Certain municipalities also prohibit stopping or standing in a disabled parking space unless a disabled parking windshield identification card is visible or the vehicle has a disabled license plate. Do not park in striped areas adjacent to disabled parking spaces or in a striped area in front of an entrance to a business adjacent to a disabled parking space. Striped areas are for wheelchair lifts. Unattended motor vehicle. It is illegal for any driver to permit their car to stand idling unattended without turning off the engine, locking the ignition, removing the key from the ignition, and setting the brake, and when standing on any grade, without turning the front wheels to the curb or side of the road. The requirements regarding turning off the engine, locking the ignition, and removing the key do not apply to a driver who starts the engine by using a remote starter or other similar device that remotely starts the engine without the key in the ignition. Before the vehicle can be operated, the key must be placed in the ignition or must be physically present in the vehicle. Parallel parking. 1. Choose a space large enough for your car to fit. Signal, then stop even with the front of the car about 2 feet out from the space. To alert drivers who may be behind you, be sure to signal before you pass the spot you want to parallel park in. 2. Make sure you will not interfere with oncoming traffic, then turn your front wheels all the way to the right and back slowly toward the curb. 3. When your front seat is opposite the rear bumper of the car ahead, turn your steering wheel all the way to the left. Back slowly toward the car behind you without touching it. You should be about 6 inches from the curb. Do not park more than 18 inches from the curb or edge of the road. 4. Straighten your front wheels and pull into the final parking position. Center your car in the space. Parking on hills, turn wheels to curb, turn back of wheels to curb, turn wheels to right, no curb, leaving a parking space. Use caution when leaving any parking space and check all of your mirrors to make sure nothing is obstructing your vehicle's path, especially pedestrians or children. Children often play between parked cars. Look back before and while you're backing up. Be sure to use your signal to notify other drivers you are leaving your current parking spot. Watch for children in residential areas coasting. It is illegal to coast on a downgrade with the gears or transmission in neutral. Chapter 8, Speed and Speed Limits. Speed. Generally, you should drive at the same speed as the mainstream of traffic and always be aware of how fast you are traveling. You must always obey the speed limit, and you should consider these best practices below. 1. You should keep a safe distance between your car and the one in front of you. The faster you drive, the greater the distance you should keep from the car ahead of you. For speeds 30 miles per hour or less, the minimum time between your car and the one in front of you is 2 seconds with good road conditions. For speeds above 30 miles per hour, maintain a 4 seconds gap between cars during good road conditions. During periods of poor road conditions, allow more time. Using a 4-second following interval is the best practice for a beginning or less experienced driver. It takes the average person 1.5 seconds to think, react and apply the brakes. The following table shows how far you travel in that 1.5 seconds, plus how many feet you travel while skidding to stop. Approximate stopping distances, and this is with good brakes and tires on dry level pavement: going 20, going 30, going 40, going 50, going 60, going 70, 229 feet to stop, 303 feet to stop, 387 feet to stop, 164 feet to stop, 63 feet to stop, 109 feet to stop. 2. You should adjust your speed and following distance according to your physical condition and the conditions of the vehicle and road. If you are tired or not feeling well, do not drive. Never force yourself to drive. 3. You should know when to slow down and increase the following distance. A. Slow down and increase the following distance when the road is wet. Many drivers find out too late what a small amount of rain can do. Roads become slippery when wet, making your car harder to control. Slow down and make sure you have complete control of the situation at all times. B. Slow down and increase the following distance when the road is crowded. C. Slow down and increase the following distance when your vision is limited. You should always be able to stop within the distance you can see ahead of your car. In the dark or in bad weather, do not overdrive your range of vision. Speed reduces your field of vision. Stationary field of vision is 180 degrees or more. 20 miles per hour field of vision reduced to about 2/3. 40 miles per hour field of vision reduced to about 2/5. 60 miles per hour field of vision reduced to about 1/5. Speed limits. Drivers are required to obey posted minimum and maximum speed limits. These limits are designed to provide for the orderly flow of traffic under normal driving conditions. During periods of heavy traffic, bad weather, low visibility, or other poor driving conditions, you must adjust your speed and following distance to help avoid crashes. The speed limits table shows the maximum speed limits for all vehicles under different conditions. Drivers must also be aware cities and counties have the authority to change these limits. Entities that establish or alter a speed limit must establish the same speed limit for daytime and nighttime. Table 22, Speed Limits. Type of roadway speed. Mile per hour urban district 30. Alley 15. Beaches and county roads adjacent to a public beach, if declared by the Commissioners Court of the County, 15. Highway numbered by Texas or the U.S. outside an urban district including farm to market and ranch to market roads. Passenger cars, motorcycles, light truck, passenger car or light truck towing a trailer or semi-trailer, truck or truck tractor, truck or truck tractor towing a trailer or semi-trailer, buses, school activity bus. School buses which have passed a commercial vehicle inspection. 70. 60. Highway not numbered by Texas or the U.S. and outside an urban district. Passenger cars, motorcycles, light truck, passenger car or light truck towing a trailer or semi-trailer, truck or truck tractor, truck or truck tractor towing a trailer or semi-trailer, buses, school activity bus. School buses that have not passed a commercial vehicle inspection or are traveling on a highway not numbered by Texas or the U.S. 60. 50. The Texas Transportation Commission, regional mobility authorities and local governments have authority to raise or lower speed limits based on traffic studies and other statutory requirements. Many limited access highways have speed limits of 75 up to 85 miles per hour. Always be aware of and observe the posted speed limit for the roadway on which you are driving. Slow down or move over. If an emergency medical vehicle, law enforcement vehicle, fire truck, tow truck, utility service vehicle, Texas Department of Transportation vehicle, TxDOT, or other highway construction or maintenance vehicle, is stopped on the road with its lights activated, the lights are on or flashing, then the driver is required 1. To reduce his/her speed to 20 miles per hour below the speed limit, or 2. Move out of the lane closest to the emergency medical vehicle, law enforcement vehicle, fire truck, tow truck or a TxDOT vehicle. If the road has multiple lanes traveling in the same direction. There are other instances where it is important to be observant of vehicles stopped on the road. Mail, delivery, and trash collection. Vehicles often make frequent stops in the roadway. Drivers must proceed with caution, and, if possible, change lanes before safely passing one of these vehicles on the road. Street racing. Street racing, also known as drag racing, is illegal and can result in serious injuries or fatalities. Illegal street racers put other drivers at risk because races are typically held on public roads. Due to the high speeds, drivers are unable to react to common road hazards or other driving situations, which often results in crashes. Illegal street racing also causes unnecessary property damage, including extensive wear on roads, due to the high-powered engines. Damaging asphalt, which requires costly repairs at the expense to the taxpayer. Please visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, https://www.nhtsa.gov/risky driving/speeding for speed. Related fatalities. A person may not participate in 1. A race. 2. A vehicle speed competition or contest. 3. A drag race or acceleration contest. 4. A test of physical endurance of the operator of a vehicle, or 5. In connection with a drag race, an exhibition of vehicle speed or acceleration, or to make a speed record. The criminal penalty for a conviction of speed racing ranges from a Class B misdemeanor to a second-degree